Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alamin. Wassalatu wassalamu Muhammadin ashrafil mursalin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Amma ba'd. Before we recap the last session, I'd like to point out something that we did last week, which was this sentence: Ja'a Zaidun wan nasu jalisun. Jalisun. And we had a waw haliyah, and this was the hal. Yes, we had a sentence that formed a hal. That means it was describing someone here. Someone here, the fa'il. Now, because this was jalisun, and in my mind it's behaving like a verb, my mind was stuck on it as being a fi'il. Yes. And when we did the i'rab for this, we asked for the sign. Why do we say it is marfu'? And we know this is a far'iyah sign because it's an una. Yes, a far'iyah sign meaning it's not the asli sign of dhamma. There's no dhamma at the end here. The una we have to take the whole una. Yes.
Okay.
So when it is an isim or a noun, then the sign of rafa is actually the waw itself. When it is an isim, it's the waw itself that is the sign of rafa. If this had been an actual verb, this is a fi'il. Well, you know that some fi'ils end with unas as well, right?
Yes.
So then when it is marfu', it is because of the presence of this noon. Yes, this is the presence of noon. So this noon represents like a tanwin. So when it is when you drop it, becomes nasab or majzoom, the noon is dropped to make it either mansub or majzoom. Yes, except in the case of the ladies. Remember, we said in the case of the ladies that's not true. In the case of the second person ladies, group of ladies, and the third and first person, we will see it in the table. We will see this. So here, like I said, I've corrected the mistake I made last week. So it should be haba marfu'un bil waw, not bisubutun nun, bil waw. So this is the one that is what was doing, and then of course this was what our lesson was all about. We were actually talking about the sentence itself and what it represents in this whole bigger sentence. In this whole bigger sentence. This is why it's called a subordinate clause. It's a sentence within a sentence. And this particular case is when there is no half masdari. Remember, we had two cases of subordinate clauses, one with the half masdari and one without the masdari. So this is the case of without. I just want to show you what we did some time back. I'm not sure whether you have joined us at this point in time, but we did a slide on the sign of i'rab for plural, in terms of marfu', mansub, and majroor. Yes, because it is a noun.
The noun.
Because it's a noun, it's majroor. It's not majzoom. So when it is marfu', it would be una or atun when it's feminine. Yes. And when it's mansub, when this is, in this case, we're talking about a noun that is made light. Remember the cases when a noun that is made light, for example, when it's mamnu min al-sarf, it cannot carry a tanwin. Yes. And then of course when it is a mudaf, it's also light, there is no tanwin. So this is still the case of marfu', but when it is, it doesn't have the tanwin. It doesn't have the tanwin. So you see, in this case there is no nun. In this case there is no nun. Similar to the case of the fi'il. So we need to be a little bit careful what we're looking at. So mansubun is ina or atin, and when it is without tanwin, it becomes ati. And here again, you know that mansub and majroor are the same. For a noun. For a noun. So this is nouns, isim, asma. The isims. Now When it comes to the fi'l, yes, when it comes to the fi'l, it's good to remind ourselves, yeah. This is the case of marfu', and you can see here there are three voices. We call it voices, yeah. The person who speaks, yeah, the person who is being addressed, the second person, and the person who's not there. We're talking about them, yeah. So here is ana, anti or anta, yeah, or huwa and hiya, depending on whether he's male or female, yeah. But when it comes to first person, both male and female, the same, yeah, the same.
Yeah.
Now, as you can see, in the case of a mudari' that's marfu', we see the dhamma, just like we would with the isim, yeah, dhamma, the asliyah, the asliyah. But when it comes to the lady here, anti, for mudari', it is tansurina, yeah. And this is one of what we call af'al khamsa, the 5 verbs that is special, yeah, with the nun, yeah. So so this is something that we also want to remember. So this is the case of marfu'. All the nuns are intact, yes. And then we go to the mansub case. What happens with mansub? The asli, the one that is singular, the mufrad, has a fatha now, just like your isim, yeah. All right, and then you start dropping the nun. The nuns get dropped, except in the case of the ladies, the group of ladies. We can't drop it because the nun here is actually the fa'il, nun niswa. You cannot drop the fa'il. You know that when you have a fi'il, you have to have a fa'il. Yeah? So that is why we cannot drop the nun in these two cases. Yeah? So we only drop the cases for the af'al khamsa, the 5 cases of fi'il. Yeah? So this is mansubun. And majzum, remember, for fi'ils it's majzum, not majrur. We have the sukun for the mufrads. Sukun for the mufrads, yeah, as you can see here. And on top of that, this case is a sukun because we've dropped the nun. Yeah, so this is the same for majzum as well as mansub. Yeah, the same, identical, except for the mufrad case, where in mansub is a fatha. Yeah, okay. So this is just a reminder. Now, what we did now so far, what we have done so far, now I need you to really focus on this, because it's something sometimes we don't realize. We do it again and again, but we don't realize the significance of the difference. Yes, so it's important to remember this. Now, what have we done so far? We were talking about sentences within a sentence. The term subordinate clause was chosen. Yeah, Ustad used the word subordinate clause in English to represent what we say a jumlah sughra, a small sentence that is in a jumlah kubra, in a bigger sentence. All right. Strictly speaking, English is more than that. It's more than a small sentence and a big sentence. It's anything that is a clause is a clause that is part of a bigger clause. So in English it's a bigger meaning, okay? But in this context of Arabic grammar, we are talking about a sentence within a sentence, okay? So that's the difference, because I don't want you to go and read up something in English grammar and then think, oh, is that the same with Arabic? No, it's not the same. Okay, it's not 100% identical. But because it's like a bigger term, it's a broader term. It includes our small sentence or jumlah to sughra. This is why Ustad used it. Yeah. So let's recap what we have done so far. We've done the subordinate clauses with the subordinate conjunctions. What are we talking about by subordinate conjunctions? We're talking about the huruf masdari. Yeah, the huruf masdari or half masdari, the one that makes. Okay, what does it do? So we have an. These are the common ones: kai, law, anna, hamzatul istifham, and ma. Ma, not to be mixed up with isim mausul ma. This is your harfu masdari. So basically, when you take the half plus the jumla, you get what we call a masdar mu'awwal, an implied masdar. Yeah, meaning it's not a single word, it's a sentence, but we take it as if it's a single word, yeah, with a single function. Yeah, so this is what we mean by masdar mu'awwal. It's implied. Yeah, all right. Then after we did all that, we went to the one without subordinate conjunction, the one that we've just talked about a few minutes back. Yes, without the subordinate conjunctions. Now in this case, as I was saying, in classical Nahwu, what we're doing now, al-Jumlatu Sughra is used only inside the structure of a Jumla Kubra, a big sentence. Yeah, because subordinate clause in English, it's a wider term. It's not only inside a sentence, it can be outside. But for this case, yes, within a sentence embedded in a sentence. Now, here I put it's a subset of the term subordinate clause, because subordinate clause is bigger. Yeah. When it is in a jumlah kubra, in a big sentence, and used without a half masdari, okay, it can function grammatically as follows. We saw this as a sifa when it's addressing something that is nakira, as hal when it's addressing something that is ma'rifah, yeah, and it can be the mudaf ilay to a zarf, a mudaf ilay to a zarf, which is always nasab. Yeah, there's a mudaf that is a zarf. And we also saw something called maqulul qawl. Basically, it's the maf'ul bihi of a quotation. Someone said kul or kala or yakulu or whatever it is that they said, but it is a quotation. Yeah, so it's maqulul qawl. Now, this last category here is what we're going to expand on. Yeah, this is what we're going to expand on, because you see, it's a complete sentence by itself. It has no half masdari, nothing in front of it. Yeah, these usually it addresses something outside the sentence. Yeah, but in this case, it's like by itself. Yeah, like when you quote kul, say, za 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 za, it's all in inverted commas, right? So it's independent on its own. So there's something special about this. Before we start this, however, there's a third category of what we call subordinate clauses. And why do I say there's a third category? So the first category, with conjunction. Second category, without conjunction. Third category, in between. Neither here nor there. With, you can't really say it's without a conjunction, because there is something in front of the sentence. But you cannot say it's with conjunction, because that something is not a conjunction, it's an isim. Okay? So that's why we say it's in between. And what am I talking about here? You know it. It's the mausul and the sila. Yeah? We have two types of mausul. Mausul harfi, the one that we have just seen. And now we're going to look at the mausul ismi or isim mausul. Yeah? Mausul harfi, mausul ismi. Yeah, the mausul that belongs to halves, the mausul that belongs to isims. Yeah, so basically that's what we're saying. So let's look at the isim mausul. Now, an isim mausul sentence, meaning the isim mausul and the sila together, yeah, can come in anywhere as a noun or an adjective. A noun or an adjective. Now, I like to think of it adjective and adverb. When I look at adjective, I'm thinking of sifah. When I look at adverb, I'm thinking of hal. This is how I look at it, because one is describing the verb, the other one is describing a noun. A sifah of a mawsuf, that is a noun, normally a person, a thing, a place, or something. Yeah. Whereas hal is more like a description of what that person is doing. Yeah. So that's why I'm thinking more on adverb. But she has used the word adjective. Yeah. So adjective to apply in both cases of hal and sifa. So now, what am I saying? Everyone knows this. This is an ism موصول. الذي. Yeah. جاء الذي طلبت. جاء الذي طلبت. Alhamdulillah. Assalamu alaikum. Sister Shiraz, are you able to talk today?
Walaikum assalam rahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Yeah, Ustazah.
Alhamdulillah. I have not heard your voice for so long, Dr. Shiraz. Okay. Now, how...
Actually, sorry, it was, overlapping the time of my Hifz class during those times.
Whenever you're welcome, you're always welcome. All of you are always welcome. Alhamdulillah. A class wouldn't be a class without people in it. Okay, now, how would I translate this sentence?
Alhamdulillah.
How would I translate this sentence, Sister Shiraz?
Ji. Ja allazi
talabta.
Talabta. Okay. मतलब he came, the person who came, or a person who came, whom you wished for.
Talabta is we say to ask. Yeah, when we do a talab, we are asking someone. You know that a talab also can be like a dua. Yeah.
Whom you asked for.
Okay. Yes. All right.
So
the person. The one who you asked for came, yeah? The person you asked for came, yeah? Alhamdulillah. Yes, correct. Alhamdulillah. So
I'll be translating the Mosul first, then the fail.
Yeah,
so
because
in this way.
We in English we always say the fa'il first, right? Usually.
Okay.
So this is why the one you asked for came, yeah? That's
came.
Yes, Alhamdulillah.
Sure.
So in this case, this is the موصول and sila, and the موصول and sila sentence is the fa'il. Yeah, is the fa'il. Now, in this case, however, what happened is there is a موصول. There is a موصول. Yeah, and let's look back at the other sentence again. So there is no موصول. This is just strictly fa'il. Yes, there is no mawsul sifah here, but here there is. Yeah, here and here. Now the fa'il is this whole thing. In terms of tarkib, is this whole thing. Yeah, but of course in terms of i'rab, it's more complicated. Yeah, it's broken down smaller. So here, the man whom you asked for, yeah, the man whom you asked for came. Yeah, so you're describing the man. Which man? The man that you asked for. Yeah, he came. So now it's a bit broader, right? It's a bit broader. Okay, let's see the i'rab. Ja'a, you know, everyone remember, right? Fi'il madin mabni ala al-fath. Remember, whenever it's mabni, there is no ta marbuta. Now, Sister Quratul Ain, are you able to do the i'rab for the next one? Allazi. Allazi. Oh, you're listening tonight? Okay,
it can be off and on. So, allazi is a موصول.
What's the i'rab for that?
It's a sifa.
No, the i'rab first. The i'rab first, meaning, is it mu'rab? Okay. Is it mabni? Is it, yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's mabni.
And it's mabni on what? Ala?
Ala sukun.
Yes, and it's fi mahali?
Fi mahali rafa.
And it
fa'il.
Yes. So here, this is the important distinction between tarkib and i'rab. Yeah, tarkib was just the structure, and we took the fa'il to be the whole thing, right? The whole thing. Whereas in i'rab, no, only allazi has status. Allazi is the only one that has slot. Yeah, so this is something we need to remember. But talabta, what happens to talabta? Sister Momina, what happens to talabta? How will we do the i'rab for talabta?
الفعل الماضي مبني على الفتح
مبنية على جزم.
على
طلبت مبني على السكون.
yes, على سكون, correct. You're absolutely right, because the ta there is actually the
it's the is it now the مفعول به? No. The one
this one is built in. It's a built in.
Oh. It's the is it the file?
Yes, it is the file.
Yeah,
Alhamdulillah,
yeah.
it's the file. Yes, that's why we stop at sukun. Yeah, that's why we stop at
Oh,
sukun.
yeah, that's
So here we are. It's fi'il madin mabniyun ala sukuni wal ta. Yeah, there's no takdiruhu here. We can see the ta. Yeah, so damirun muttasilun is attached. Fi mahali raf'in fa'ilun. Yeah, fa'ilun. Alhamdulillah. Right, now the final one is the one that we're going to learn about today. So what do we say about this sentence? The sentence talabta. What do I say about this sentence? This is a whole sentence, yeah? You see, by default, any subordinate clause, any sentence within a sentence, by default, is what we term as nakira, indefinite. No, default, indefinite. Talabta, a sentence. No, it's a sentence by itself. So it's not like a special sentence or anything. But when you stick al-lazi to it, this sentence now is termed as ma'rifa. This particular sentence, yeah, al-lazi talabta. It's kind of weird, but that's how it is understood. Yeah, this al-lazi or whatever isim mausul that you use makes the sentence after it ma'rifah, a particular sentence, yeah, a definite sentence. So this is how we can look at it. But yeah, the definition comes from al-lazi, the isim mausul, not the sentence itself. The sentence itself, remember, we always say, yes, the jumlatu talabta silatul mausul is la mahala laha min al-I'rāb, yeah, because of the ta. So this is laha, la mahala laha min al-I'rāb. It has no place in I'rāb. Yeah, it has no function in the sentence. What makes the function defined is the isim mausul itself. The isim mausul is the one that carries the weight, not the sentence itself. This one just tags along. Yeah, it just tags along. So this is where the difference is between this particular case of subordinate clause with the one that doesn't have the half mastery. Okay, remember half mastery, this is an isim, so it's not half mastery. So it's not the first case, it's not the second case, it's this strange third case in the middle. Okay, this strange in between case. Allazi talabta. And it is la mahala laha min al-I'rāb. This sentence has no i'rāb. This whole sentence does. This is the fa'il. Yeah, if you look at it in terms of tarkib, this whole sentence does. But in terms of i'rāb, it's only this that has the i'rāb, this does not. Okay, so I hope you get that, inshallah. Now here's the case of the mausul sifah thing. So this one, of course, it becomes more elaborate. Now the fa'il is rajul, yeah, rajul, and allazi is now, this whole thing is now the sifah, or mausul sifah, yeah, the description, the adjective of ar-rajul. So, and it is in the form of the isim mausul and the fi'il madin, yeah, and the jumlah here is still la mahala laha min al-I'rāb, yeah, i'rāb. But there should be another sentence here that probably takes this whole thing to be the fa'il, yeah, to be the fa'il. But what we're looking at is actually talabta again, yeah, talabta again. Our focus is on this one, not this one. If you look at this one, then there is a mahal, But you look at this one, there is no Maḥall because the Maḥall is carried by allazi. Alright? Inshallah. Okay. We have done basically the 3 categories of subordinate clauses. Yeah, but what I need to address now with all of you is jumlas or sentences, like I said, just like the maqulu qawl, just like the maqulu qawl, that seem to stand by themselves because they're complete, they're not connected with anything before or after in a grammatical sense. Yes, grammatically they are not connected, but they add meaning to the sentence. Okay, they add meaning to the whole context or whatever it is the sentence is describing or the paragraph is describing. I'm not just a sentence now. I'm talking about maybe a whole paragraph of things, or a what do you call it? A succession. My goodness, succession of verses maybe in the Quran, ayat in the Quran. Yes, it might be the first verse or something like that, but it brings meaning to that group of things that you're saying. Yeah, but it has no grammatical connection. Okay, no grammatical connection. Okay, let's see what I mean. Okay, here's a term called zifa. Wazifa, sorry. Wazifa is waw, zaw, and fa. Yeah, the root letters are waw, zaw, and fa. Wazifa. Now it means basically function. Okay, the function of a sentence. Okay, so there are many ways a sentence can function: by itself, within a sentence, yes, or in a group of sentence. So it's this group of sentence that we are addressing. Yeah. So let's have a look. Now, qa'idah jama'ah is actually just a general rule. Yeah, it sounds very posh, but it's actually meaning general rule. All right, who would like to read this? Let me see. Sister Momina, are you being adventurous today? Okay, right.
Yeah, okay.
Maybe you can read up to here. Maybe you can read up to here. And then Sister Shiraz can read the rest. Yeah, Sister Shiraz can read the rest.
I can do the last part.
Okay, yes, inshallah.
كل جملة وقعت في موضع من مواضع إلى الإعراب فلها محل من الإعراب وكل جملة لم تقع موقعا إعرابيا.
Okay, I'rabian. Okay, you can stop there. Hold on. So kullu, we know what kullu means. Yes, don't we? Every sentence. Now waqa'at. Have anyone heard of this word before? Waqa'at.
Happen.
Happen.
Yeah,
Okay. That occurs.
To occur.
Yes, exactly. So fi mawdi. Min mawadi. So this is oops, what happened? Is everybody okay? Somebody fell down or something? Okay, no. Okay, all right. So okay, yes, we were saying occupy a position of some sort, from the positions of I'rāb. Okay, something like that. Then falaha mahallun min al-I'rāb. Yeah, such a sentence does not occupy place in I'rāb. Yeah, falaha mahallun min al-I'rāb. Okay. Now, wa kullu jumlatin lam taqa'a mawqa'an i'rabiyan. Yeah, this is basically what we are saying here. Yeah, so every sentence does not occur in a place of occurrence. Shall I say that? Of i'rabiyan. Is that how would we translate this? What do you think, Sister Quratul Ain? How do we say here?
Yes. I would. I mean, I think you said it right, but this is how I would say it.
Okay.
That every sentence that occurs in a position from among the positions of I'rāb, then for that is a Maḥall. For that is
it does
is
occupy.
the
Yeah, okay. It's a place of I'rāb. Okay, yes, there is a function. Okay. And for this, if it doesn't, then it doesn't have a place of I'rāb. Yeah. Okay, Alhamdulillah. Now, Sister Shiraz, can you read this part, this second part of it?
जी
Mm-hmm.
كالجملة كالجملة لابتدائية والإعتراضية وجواب القسم وجواب النداء فلا محل لها من الإعراب.
Okay,
Okay, in the same way, the jumla of the occurrence, that is the starting jumla, ibtidaiya,
yes.
and the wal etaraziya, which comes in between,
Parenthesis, the
etaraziya
parenthetical, yes, that's right, yes.
parenthetical, and jawabil qasam, and the jawabul qasam, the jumla of jawabul qasam, and the jawabul nida, and the jawabul nida, fala mahalla laha min al-i'rab. Even these two doesn't have any mahal in the i'rab.
Yes, Alhamdulillah. Yep. So these are the ones that we're going to tackle for the next two sessions. Yeah. We're going to look at ibtidaiyah first. We're going to look at ibtidaiyah first, and then inshallah next session we will go on to the others. Yeah, we go on to the others. All right.
Sister Zuraidah, how did you translate the wazifa? I wasn't there when you explained that.
Which one? Sorry.
Is this new term called wazifatul jumla?
This is function. Wazifa is function. Yeah, the function.
Yeah,
sentence. Okay.
actually, wazifa is used for like job designation. In our language.
Oh, I see. So it's quite close, right? How it functions, how it works.
Subhanallah. That's so beautiful. Yes. That's just like you, sisters, right?
Subhanallah. You're not going to get an A for this, okay? No. Which means once we finish this section, I'm about to say, I was thinking maybe we would have a little test. Yeah. So because I just want to see how much you've all absorbed up to this point. Yeah, inshallah. It won't be a difficult test. We can do it together. Yeah, inshallah. So now, what are the functions that don't have a grammatical slot? Yeah, like the maqulu qaul, although it looks like it, but it has a grammatical function. It's normally mansub because it's like a maf'ul bihi. Yeah, but these three categories that that normally occurs, it is not just three. There are other like subcategories. You know, the grammarians. You know, the Arabic grammarians can really go over the top. I mean, it seems like they keep on digging deeper and deeper. Allah bless them with knowledge. Yeah, inshallah. So ibtidaiyah, this is the one that's about the start at the beginning. Yes. Ta'liliyah, this is the one that comes with things like fa sababiyah, lam ta'lil. Yes, that means it explains to you why whatever it is that came before this sentence happened. Yes. And then we have istidrakiyah. Yes, this is when it kind of like makes an objection to what was said before. You know, it's saying that that's not right. You know, that's istidrakiyah. Yeah. But as you can see, we also have like the parenthetical sentence, the one that we mentioned before, the one that Sister Shiraz said. Yeah, which is with the taqdiriyah. Oh my goodness, let me go back here. Here we go. Yeah,
Silatul Mawsul, Jawabu Shart.
This one, yeah.
This
is the one. So this is more like, you know, like Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Yeah, that's one example, for example, very straightforward example. Yeah, so we're going to look at these three for this session. Yeah, for this particular course, if you can call it a course. Yes, inshallah. Okay. Now, ibtidaiyah, the initial or independent sentence. Now, you might be thinking, this is strange. Okay, well, look at the definition. A sentence that begins a discourse or idea. So I'm saying it belongs to a group of sentences. It can be, or it can be just with another sentence, okay? Or it can be in a paragraph or a verse. Yes? But it's usually at the beginning. Not necessarily, but usually at the beginnings. And then sometimes it's towards the end, but it's still called ibtidaiyah because it's by itself. So it has no grammatical attachment. Now this is the thing that makes it different. All these sentences that we saw just now, the 3 that we saw, this is what makes them different. Yeah, no grammatical attachment, but there is attachment in terms of meaning, in terms of the mood it wants to set. Yeah, in terms of the feeling it wants to convey. Yeah, so it sets the scene. It sets the scene, if you can imagine that. So it's complete in meaning by itself. So it's not like you need to have a half, or you need it to have come with another sentence, or on an atfin or something. Yeah, no isim mosul required. Yeah, so it's complete in meaning by itself. Usually at the start, it's not introduced by particles. Particles here means your huruf. Yeah, and it can be nominal, it can be fi'liya, because these are the 2 types of sentences that we have. Yeah, rarely amar, but it's not unusual. I mean, it's not as if it's there is no such thing, but sometimes you can have an amar as well. So this sentence, believe it or not, can be an ibtidaiyah. Ja'a Zaidun, because it could be the start of a story. Yeah, Zaid came. Yeah, it's kind of like set the atmosphere for the story. So Zaid came, then what happened next? That sort of thing. So but this is simple. This one you should know. Yeah, fa'il, fi'il. There's nothing mysterious about the i'rab of this one. Yeah, we don't even have to do it. Yeah, but when we want to use this as ibtidaiyah, if we want to take it as ibtidaiyah, it's part of a story, for example, then we'll say this. Yeah, jumlatun ja'a zaidun, the sentence is ibtidaiyah, but la mahala laha min al-i'rāb, because it's grammatically independent of the rest. Yeah, it can stand by itself. Yeah, all right. Here's another one. We always see this sort of form in the Quran. Yeah, we always see lafzu jalallah and then followed by either a habar or sifah. Yes, either sifatan or habaran in this case. Yeah. So here, then we would say it like this. This is the muqtada. Yeah, marfu'un wa alamatu rafi'i ad-dhamma az-zahira, because we can see it. Yeah. And ghufuran is the habar awal, the first habar. And rahimun is the second habar. Yeah, this is one way of doing the i'rāb. And then the whole sentence, kullu jumlah, yeah, ibtidaiyah, ibtidaiyah, subhanallah. Okay. Alhamdulillah, when I recite the Quran, I don't have problems, but when I'm reading, it just, what is it about our mind when we recite, and what is it our mind when we read? That becomes different.
These are linguistic words now, Ustaza. These are there in the Quran, like ibtidadi, all those. It is a linguistic word, I think so.
Yeah, well, it is part of the language. Yes, it's a terminology used by the grammarians. Yeah, ibtidaiya. Yeah. Okay, so we're looking at here. This is the Tarkīb. Yes, if you've forgotten what it's all about, is the Tarkīb. But this wow is atfin. Yeah, it's atfin. Here, what we want to show is, basically what we want to show, we have 2 sentences of the same kind. Yes, jumlah fi'liyah, and it is connected by a waw. Okay, so how do we treat a sentence like this? What's the mahal of this, if there's any mahal to be in the first place? Yeah,
la mahal laha again.
Yes, because it's an ataf. Yeah, it's an ataf.
Ma'tuf on the first.
Because when it is ma'tufah, then it will follow the status. Yeah, this is what we learned about ma'tufs in the first place. Yeah. Okay, so here we go. We saw that. We saw this. And here's the jumlah again, ibtidaiyah. The first sentence is ibtidaiyah, but you wouldn't say the second one is, even though the status is the same. The term for it is always ma'tufah. We learned this. Yes, we learned this. So jumlah zahaba Khalidun ma'tufah ala jumlatu ja'a, the first one. It follows the first one. And it's still la mahala laha min al-i'rāb. Why? Because the first one was la mahala laha min al-i'rāb. Yeah. But sometimes when you have a haliyah, no, of course not. Yeah? Remember, this is atfin. When this is haliyah, you can have huwa something something something, right? Because you have a jumlah ismiyah. Then the i'rab might change. It won't follow what was before, because it wasn't ataf, it wasn't ma'tuf. It is actually haliyah. It's an independent thing by itself too. Yeah. So don't get caught by that. Yeah. If you have a jumlah ismiyah after your waw, then the i'rab, i'rab will be in the slot of whatever it is that it is. Because jumlah ismiyah, we have mubtada and habar. Yeah. So be careful about that. But in this case, straightforward, this is ma'tuf. Ja'a came and Khalid went. Yeah, they didn't like each other or something like that. Yep. So the minute Zaid came, Khalid went. Okay. So here again we have the case of mubtada habar, but the habar now is in the case of a jumlah fi'liyah. So our i'rab now becomes like this. Yes. Mubtada'un marfu'un wa alamatu raf'ihi ad-dhamma zahira. Okay, now Sister Momina, Zahaba, what's the i'rab for that?
فعل ماضي مبني على الفتح.
Is there a file to this or no?
Isn't Zaid is the mubtada? Okay, the file is in ضمير مستتر.
Yes.
ضمير مستتر هو.
Yes, good. Alhamdulillah. Yeah, so it is. There is a fa'il. Yeah, because we're talking about mubtada habar. Remember, we always said there's no such thing as a fa'il coming before the fi'il. No such thing as fa'il coming before the fi'il. If there's something that looks like a fa'il coming before fi'il, then it is actually the mubtada. We learned this one as well. Yeah, the fa'il will always follow the fi'il. But you might have a maf'ul bihi stuck to it. Yeah, that's something that we also understand. But basically, the action comes before the doer for jumlah fi'liyah. Here it's good to add this. Yeah, takdiruhu mustatirun takdiru huwa ya'udu, referring back, going back. Yeah, to Zaid. Yeah, going back to Zaid. Yeah, ya'udu. So now you're getting to be advanced grammar students, no longer intermediate or beginning. Yeah, you need to be more exact now. وجملة فعلية ذهب في محل رفع خبر للمبتدأ in زيد. Yeah, so we refer this. This is more complete. I know after some times, because when you repeat the same thing again and again, you tend to drop things here, tend to drop things there, right? Because it's understood. That's why when you open the books of I'rāb, the writer or the author gets tired after some time. Not to say tired, but being repeating it again and again. Yeah, so sometimes they drop here, drop there, but you would have understood by then this is what he meant. But if you want it complete, you will say something like this. Yeah, so then we know what we're talking about. This is good when we're starting off, because sometimes it's not obvious and we can't remember if we don't write it down. Yeah, so writing down is important. I noticed that I find that because of the computer, because of the screen, we don't take the pencil and write anymore, or the pen and write anymore. You know, it's type. And I think a lot of memorization becomes difficult when you don't write down. Don't write down. Okay, remembering, I mean, not maybe memorization, maybe in terms of the Quran, for example, there are techniques for that, right? But in terms of things like this, where we are not memorizing for memorization's sake or whatever it is, we want to remember it, it's normally writing down. Yeah.
True, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala swears by the pen in the Quran, and we need to pick up the pen. Isn't it?
Yeah, and write it, right? By the kalam.
Write it. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yes. But I said this to one little girl here, that we should pick up. She said, I always pick up the digital pen.
Okay.
So you can't win. We can't win.
You can't win. Okay. Now, here there's a reason why we say kulluha, the whole thing, yeah, the whole zaid zab. This is the whole thing. As you can see, the whole sentence is ibtidaiya. But this, of course, this would have a mahal. Yeah, this sentence has a mahal. Why? Because it's the khabar. But this whole sentence doesn't have a mahal. Why? Because it's a sentence, maybe the first sentence in a paragraph. Yeah, so it's ibtidaiya. All right, alhamdulillah. Yeah. Now we have the final example here. This is just an additional thing. Qama. Yeah. Now, how do we look at this sentence? So this is ma'tuf alayh. The qama is ma'tuf alayh. We have two sentences. The fi'l madin here. Jumla fi'liyah. Yeah. And this in terms of tarkib, this is our khabar. So Zaidun did two things. He stood and then he left. Yeah, he stood and then he left. Yeah, so this is ma'tuf alayh, and this is your ma'tuf, and is your atfin. Yeah, so this is quite a nice sentence that is done. Now, how's the I'rāb now? Where's the ibtidaiyah? So where is Zaidun?
Mubtada, and this whole will be the khabar, and the whole will form jumla ismiya, which is ibtidaiya.
Okay, so Zaidun qama, you're saying, is the ibtidaiyah?
Zaidun is mubtada. Qama was zahaba. Qama, this is fi'l madi. Again, waw is atf and zahaba. So this whole will be the khabar for Zaidun. The whole will form jumla ismiya, which is again, the whole will be ibtidaiya.
Okay, this is what we saw here, right? So in terms of tarkib, yes. Now in terms of i'rāb, it's a little bit different. Oh, sorry, this is for next week. Okay, here we are. So this is mubtada, and it's marfu' bil dhamma, normal sign. Then we have qama, which is your fi'l madin, ala fath. And the fa'il is taqdiru huwa, going back to Zaidun. Yes.
Zaidun.
Yeah. And jumlah qama fi mahalli rafa' khabar. Here. Here khafu atfin mabniyun ala fath. Wow. Zahaba, same. Yeah. Going back to Zaidun. But now we have something. Zahaba, jumlatu zahaba is ma'tufah في محل رفع معطوفة على جملة قامة. So it's now, it does have an i'rāb, yeah, as you say, because it is khabar. Yeah, it is khabar. So this is something that we need to be aware of, the difference. Just now, this whole thing was the jumla, and what comes after it was another jumla, and it was la mahala laha, la mahala laha. But in this case, no, it's not la mahala laha. Because there's no ibtidaiyah involved here. Yeah, in this case, that's how he looked at it. Subhanallah.
But this whole jumla will be ibtidaiya now, Ustaza.
Yeah, we can look at it.
Because
it's possible.
The whole.
It is possible because it can be the beginning of a story, right? Yeah, Zaid stood and left, and then the rain came down. You know, something like that. Yeah, it could be. Subhanallah. Yeah. Okay. Alhamdulillah. Exactly. So
no, like what I was asking was, this zahaba has a i'rāb because this has been atf on qama. So the same thing was, there was a silatul mawsul where the sila didn't have an i'rāb because of the ism mawsul. In the other way, jumlas before.
The ism mawsul is the one that carried the weight or carried the status. But the sila just tagged along. Yeah, he just tagged along. Alhamdulillah. Okay then, ladies. Alhamdulillah. So we've done that part. I think you've got it, because the key words here is that something that is independent, grammatically independent, but not in terms of context. In terms of context, it's part of it. That's why it's ibtidaiya, or it is. When we see the other ones, Where did we go? Yeah, yes. When we see the ta'lil, we see the connection in terms of its meaning. Yeah, but in terms grammatically, it's not connected. That's why it's la mahala laha min al-i'rāb. But in terms of meaning, there is a connection. Yeah, all right. Okay then.
So here I had a query. The previous slide, Ustaza, the previous one, the qama and zahaba.
All right.
Just the previous one. Here you have highlighted the color for zahaba. Just to think that waw is a different word and zahaba, we cannot say this doesn't have any i'rāb because this is matuf on qama. Because qama has a mahal, so zahaba will carry the same mahal for it.
Yes. Right.
So that is the way you have indicated here in the bold color one.
Yeah, in the blue color. Yes, that's what I've done. Okay. Can you see it? Yeah. معطوفة على جملة قامة. Yeah. All right. Have a look at it again. This sort of thing sometimes you're not really 100% sure until you go back and you read again, right? So inshallah we'll see more examples when we do our exercise or test, as we put it. Okay, so okay then. So you take care until we see each other next week, inshallah. Yes, subhanallah wa bihamdik. نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.
جزاك الله خيرا كثيرا.
وإياكم.
جزاك الله.